What is going on, Busy Bariatrics? I'm Rob, your favorite VSG man turned bariatric coach, and today I've got my assistant coaches and the entire team of the Hive with me to talk about how to actually handle Thanksgiving and the holidays without undoing months of hard work. If you've ever told yourself, I'll just get back on track after the holidays, this episode's going to be for you. We're breaking down how to coach yourself up to Thanksgiving, through the big day, and through the rest of the season without losing your mind, your muscle, or your momentum. Let's get gritty, let's get honest, but most importantly, let's get busy. Since this is the first time we're all recording together, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves and share what your Thanksgiving looked like prior to bariatric surgery? I'm just going to pick randomly and go around the horn. So, Stacey, I'm putting you on the spot first.
All right. I am Stacy Ironfield. I am our operations manager / virtual assistant, VSG, back in August of 2022, down about 130 from surgery. And prior to bariatric surgery, my Thanksgivings actually looked very much like they do now, except that I just partake of less of them. I still go to my cousins and have the same meal. Just a whole lot more of the protein and a lot less of the dessert.
There we go. Okay. Lise, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Lisa Gittleman. I am an assistant coach. I had VSG in November of 2022. I am down at about 146 pounds. And let's see. My Thanksgiving, I would say, looks about the same, but I used to get really sick. I would feel awful after Thanksgiving because I would just eat myself sick. Now it's much more mindful.
Perfect. And Kylie, how about you?
Hi, I am Kylie Hansen. I am a NASM certified personal trainer, as well as a nutrition coach, and I do have a certification in behavioral change. I had my surgery in July of 2013. My Thanksgiving, like Lisa and Stacy, it looked very similar, but before bariatric surgery, it was very unintentional. So I didn't think, I just ate. And so I feel like that's the biggest difference between my Thanksgiving now versus my Thanksgiving prior to bariatric surgery.
Love that. I think a lot of what you said, Kylie, is kind of where I go with it. Of prior to bariatric surgery, I had a completely different Thanksgiving where I kind of spent the day starving myself. This would be the only day a year I would try to run, if only so that then when I saw everyone at Thanksgiving, I could say, well, I worked out and I went for a run today. So the only run I ever did was Thanksgiving morning, followed by trying to starve myself nonstop because I knew I was going to eat more later. And I was like, well, if I can just be good from the point of that half a mile run that I did up until 3 o'clock Thanksgiving, it'd be fine. And I would come into Thanksgiving and pretty much just attack the entire appetizer tray, and not like the good Italian appetizer trays of like the gabagool and all the spread meats and everything. It was like I would just destroy cheese and crackers, like an embarrassingly large amount of mediocre foods, to the point where I almost made myself feel sick there, and then go into the day kind of with a little bit of shame and guilt, followed by a whole bunch of drinking and eating. So definitely happy that I don't do that anymore. And we've definitely done a good job of teaching our clients how to kind of build up to Thanksgiving as well as get through. So I'm going to let our coaches kind of take the lead of that. We always talk about beating the burrs. What are some techniques of how we kind of make sure our clients stay on point through November, especially leading up to the day of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, so I feel like leading up to a holiday, we have to just remember and help coach our clients that the 2 weeks or 3 weeks leading up to a holiday, it's exactly that. It's just the 2 or 3 weeks before the holiday. It's not the actual holiday yet, right? And so I know we struggle sometimes with making it a holiday week or a holiday month, but it's a holiday. It is one day. And just reminding and reiterating that to our clients so that they can stick to the plan for the weeks leading up to the holiday. And then, of course, have a plan or not on the actual holiday itself, but just reminding them that, we can have all of these holiday parties, whether that's 2 or whether that's 5, but having that plan is essential to having success through the holidays.
I love the whole idea of holiday because I feel like this year more than ever, we got to November 1st, and I feel like everyone just almost even bypassed Thanksgiving and started this whole like we're starting Mariah Carey mode and we're starting this entire like Christmas holiday season. And I personally think those people are disturbing who start the Christmas on November 1st because again, we keep our calendar months on point, but more importantly, I think sometimes when we get these visions of sugar plums that come in early, it starts the whole like we're doing Christmas cookies a little bit earlier. We're saying like, oh, it's getting cold and we're having like a little bit of a case of let's mess it up and keep going. And I think sometimes just remembering it's a holiday kind of keeps it in point. Lise, your thoughts or ideas on it?
Also, on the flip side of it, also encourage my clients not to overly restrict. When we make a game plan for a holiday, we talk about what the things that are important to us that we eat, right? That everybody has special things that they have for Thanksgiving or Christmas. And we prioritize it. You can't have a ton of everything. We have limited capacity, but that doesn't mean that you can't have the things that are special to you. You just have to plan for them. And I keep encouraging the clients not to go into the holiday hungry or, with an empty belly, because that's just a recipe for disaster. So they should start the day like it's any other day of the year. You have your breakfast, you go protein forward, you drink your water. And then when you come into the meal, you can eat like a normal person.
So important. Stace, what are some things you do to keep on point for the day itself?
Okay, the day itself, a lot of the things that Lisa just said, protein forward breakfast. One of the things that I have coined for the holidays for any gathering is the theory of the bits, which is the theory of the because it's there syndrome. Kind of going back to what you were talking about pre-surgery Thanksgivings, eating like the bad appetizers, just eating the things because they're in front of you, and really kind of learning to combat those. And one of the ways I do that is on the way to any gathering. I get a giant shaker bottle, fill it with water, throw a thing of clear protein in it, and I sip it on the way there. So that by the time I get there, I have hit a good portion of my hydration. I've gotten some extra protein in, and I'm kind of full so that I'm not walking in there ravenous and like ready to just grab the first bad cheese out of the Hormel plastic cheese tray that someone has thrown on the table.
No, you're 100% right on that. And it's funny because incorporating a lot of what the three of you have said, I think a lot of my plan, it looks, if you were just to kind of look at me from the beginning of the day right till the end of it looks like I'm going really low carb, low fat. And sometimes I'll even get questions like, oh, are you not doing carbs or fats? And it's like, no, I'm going to eat like half a pumpkin pie like at the end of it. So I already know, I've premeditated, I'm having like 300 grams of pumpkin pie. And when they're like, how did you know you're having 300 grams of pumpkin pie? It's real simple. I do about 40 grams of protein. Like I know what my breakfast and my lunch is. I know what staples and sides I'm going to have on Thanksgiving. And then I just know, like I want as much pumpkin pie as humanly possible. So then I cram every last macro into there and just kind of make it approach. So I feel like I get everything that I want without really having that full level of restriction. Now, when we get through the day, we do know our clients are going to probably hop on the scale Black Friday. The scale is going to be up. Why should our clients not all freak out? Or if you're listening to this, why should you not be freaking out if the scale jumps 2 to 3 pounds on Black Friday?
It's
Because
one
it's
day.
you just carb loaded for your workout, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And the gym's going to be empty. We all know this. And you're going to go work it off. Yeah, it's, the carbs are going to make you maybe retain a little more water, and it's
You
going
have
to
no control over the sodium in somebody else's food.
Well, and it only makes sense, right? Like if you have a day where you are eating in a way that you don't eat every single day, it just makes sense that you're going to get on the scale the next morning and it's going to be up. That's just the reality of a holiday, whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or your birthday, right? We just eat in a way that doesn't look like every other day of our life. So naturally, we are going to see the scale go up. So it's almost just coming to terms with that because it's just going to happen.
And we teach our clients too that like the scale is data, and we get on the scale. Most of us get on the scale every day. So we start seeing our natural fluctuations and things like that. And we know that even when the scale goes up, the scale comes back down if we're reverting to our usual habits. So it's like Kylie said, not letting it become a hollow month, that if we just revert to our usual eating, it's always the next right thing, right? It's just about doing the next right thing and the scale will rebound.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun when I've looked at my trackers and my nutrition and the scale for the last 3 years. I've kind of hit this nice point where I really don't fluctuate anymore. Like, even when we have bariatric retreat or any of these events, I don't really have these weird waves. It's kind of maybe a pound and a half, but it's never more than two. And by that Saturday or Sunday, it's right back to where it is. And that is even including with having 3 or 4 Manhattans on Thanksgiving during Detroit's game. It also includes the fact that, like, I'm probably having a little bit more cranberry sauce than I want to admit and everything else. But I think if you build that lifestyle properly and really look at the entire month, what I do on Thanksgiving really doesn't matter that much. And like Stacy says, is if you use a lot of like pie and stuff, you're pretty much carved up and ready to go for Black Friday lifting, where the gym is almost dead empty, where even if you sleep until 6:30 or 7, gym's pretty much abandoned on Black Friday. So you get like this open gym workout, you're fully carved up so that you can really lift heavy. And I really take it as I'm going to crush every single workout possible.
Remember, if you've built muscle, if you've worked towards it, you are going to burn your calories more efficiently. That muscle is going to serve you well in terms of getting that scale back in line.
Yeah, it's just another reason why we're always stressing, like, please resistance train, build muscle, do your programming. It just makes your life easier in the long run, because every year it's kind of more comical that I just don't really have fluctuations anymore. It's that this is the weight. If the scale is up, it usually takes like a month of poor behavior for me to drive it even up 2 to 3 pounds. And the reverse is actually surprisingly not the same, where it really only takes me about a week to like flub it back down from everything. So as we're looking at our plates, if we are having our first bariatric Thanksgiving, if you can remember back to that, what are some techniques if this is your first Thanksgiving from either a mindset, behavior change, or nutrition standpoint of how to tackle the day?
Thanksgiving was my first holiday only weeks after I had surgery. So I had to tackle it as a brand new post-op for the first time. And that just required a little planning. With your friends and family, you can always sort of communicate ahead of time to see what's going to be there to make your plan, especially if you are restricted from what you're eating. I think part of it is just, and I think, Rob, to your point about not fluctuating as much, I think it's because we're more mindful about what we're eating. So I think it's just important to come into the meal slowing it down. We always get into trouble when we eat too fast. So revert to those like bariatric habits. Put your fork down between bites. Focus on the company. And if you eat this, you're eating the same way that you eat every other day. Eat slowly, mind your fullness cues, come into it hydrated.
And I think too, you have to remember and help your clients remember that there is going to be more Thanksgivings to come, right? So if you're someone who's 1 week post-op or 2 weeks post-op and you're truly not really able to enjoy the food like you used to, it's not going to be your last. I mean, there's more Thanksgivings to come, right? And so your next Thanksgiving will be better than this one that you're still learning and navigating through the first 1 to 2 weeks of your new lifestyle, right? And another thing to kind of bounce off of what Lisa said is help your family understand how to best support you through this. I know going into these big family dinners can be scary because here you are, you just had bariatric surgery. Maybe your family knows, maybe they don't. I'm an open book. I just find it easier to be open and honest with everybody because your family can't support you if they don't know how to support you. And so you have to just be honest and clear with what you and how you expect them to support you, just being direct with them.
No, absolutely. I think that that important part of just communication plays such a big role. I joke that I kind of take Jehovah's Witness level of when people ask me about my plate around holidays, especially the first one of like, I'm going to painfully go through, here's how bariatric surgery works. Here's everything you need to know about bariatric surgery. Here's all the planning I went into making sure this Thanksgiving works well. And by the time I'm done talking, they're so tired of listening to me that they just walk away. And I think having conversation stoppers plays just as big a role as communicating your goals and everything else. Stace, you come from like big family functions in your neck of the woods. What are some techniques that you kind of use to talk about food choices over the holidays?
I mean, I've been lucky that I haven't had to. Everybody I'm like Kylie, open book, very supportive family who just say, what do you need? Like, I've actually had family members who are hosting parties call me ahead of time and say, do you need me to make something that you can eat? And usually I'm like, no, if I need something special, I'll bring it. But usually they've already made 10,375 different dishes and one of them fits. So I've never really had to have a conversation with anybody about food choices. I eat what I eat, and no one gives me any grief about it. Honestly.
I mean,
I'd
some of
say
these do
that.
deal with. Oh, sorry.
Now you go, Lise.
Some of our clients do deal with food pushers in their family.
Yes.
It's like Aunt Betty who really needs you to eat her potatoes au gratin. And that's just, it's not aligned with your goals. And if they won't take a like, thank you, I appreciate it, but no thank you, then you really have to like stop them. I mean, you can be assertive without being unkind.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I prefer to be unkind. I feel like unkind establishes the precedent for like the next 5 years of Thanksgivings. Just like we say, like we can't have the food choices like in our first year, but you can establish who you're going to talk to at Thanksgiving around this. So I always joke in Italian New Jersey, I'm good as a complete sentence. And that's kind of like my warning shot of like, I don't really want to play this game over a 3-bean casserole because I don't like it. And it's like, well, why don't you like it? I'll just point blank look at them at this point and be like, I got to be real honest with you. I'm not busting my macros for this. And I'll get an excuse me every now and then. And I'll just say it like slower. And I'll be like, I'm going to be real honest. Your food does not really match what I'm trying to do today. And then like that does cause a level of awkwardness, but I always kind of look at it as like, if someone's pushing food, they're already the one who's habitually line stepping. So don't get mad when I step to you when you come onto my terms.
I love that.
It's the people who are like, can you eat that always annoy me. Is like should you be eating that? And those are the people that you're like, should you be minding your own business?
I find a lot of the times the person who says, can you eat all that? If you just respond back with like, I actually think it's kind of dry, it shuts down the conversation or causes the issue with whoever cooks it. And like, again, I don't think I get invited to many Thanksgivings after the first one. So it's like, eventually I cultivate who wants to be around me, or I've gotten that like uncle status of like, you put them in the corner seat at the table and be like, look, we're going to put like a small child and a deaf relative nearby. And it kind of zones out, but then I get a very quiet, properly portioned plate of things that I really like and have. So when we talk about our plates, let's talk about what actually makes it onto our plate. So you're making a first plate. We're all at different points of our bariatric journey. What are we putting on there? What do we like? This does not even have to be nutritionally. Like, what gets on each one of your plates?
Hands down, my mother's.
Wow, this is the first time all of you jump in. So we'll go Stacy first, and then we'll go around the horn.
All right, so my cousin Mark does the turkey, and he does smoked turkeys out on his charcoal smoker. Like, that's how he makes the turkeys. So always turkey front and center because it's phenomenal. I make the Portuguese stuffing, and I happen to love my Portuguese stuffing, so I always eat a little bit of it. I'm a big fan of sweet potatoes. I'm a big fan of turnips and carrots, so I'll eat both of those. I make homemade whole cranberry sauce. So stop shaking your head.
It's so much work to
good.
just get a 70. No, but like for a 79-cent can, it's so much better. And you shake it out and it comes in
It's not any work to make homemade cranberry sauce. It
I
is
think they're
easy.
both awful.
Kylie, you're wrong on both counts.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
made
you just
properly.
keep walking over there. It's very easy to make homemade cranberry sauce. And I mean, those are my big ones. Like I have to have my stuffing and cranberry sauce and I have to have my smoked turkey and all the orange starchy stuff. Those are my big ones. Everything else is negotiable depending on how much room I have.
Yeah, I don't think that works about right. Kylie, what do you have on your plate?
Okay, so first and foremost for me is green bean casserole. That's my
Smart.
absolute favorite. I also really like sweet potatoes with like the marshmallows on top and the brown sugar. Surprisingly, I'm not like a huge turkey person. We always have it, but I prefer ham over turkey. Rob, come on.
I'm judging all of these answers.
Yeah.
We also make homemade dumplings, and so I feel like that typically makes it on my plate. I think for me, that's it. Like I would be happy with a plate of dumplings, green bean casserole, and sweet potatoes and some ham. Like I would be good.
That's a plate. Yeah, Lise, go.
Okay, so two things. Usually, what we do is we go out because usually everybody wants to kill each other if we cook, like if by the time it hits the table. So if we go out, it's not very good, frankly. And so it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of this and that. However, this year, since I'm having my plastic surgery soon, we are going to have Thanksgiving at my mom's house, which I am so excited about because my mom makes amazing stuffing. And that will 100% make it to the plate. A little turkey. Usually we do like Brussels sprouts, which I love. I keep it pretty simple, like a little bit of mashed potato, a little bit of stuffing, a little bit of turkey, Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, it's a solid approach. I like it. You know, for me, I think I really like to go of Detroit Lions football says like two Manhattans, and then like I have a little bit of it is like look, they put football on at noon. I got nothing else to do today. I'm taking this as a loss leader in November. It's circled on the calendar, so I definitely enjoy like having a Manhattan or two. The plate itself is actually pretty boring. It's a turkey leg, which I fight children over, and I've defended the title for as long as I have. Like, I have a niece who didn't get one last year, and I don't feel bad at all. But I have that, cranberries, sweet potatoes, and then, you know, like the canned cranberry, and then I just wait. And it's weird because I'll like finish my plate relatively quick, and people are like, "You good? You having seconds?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm on a mission." Like it's pie time, and it's not even like I'm gonna have pie right then. It's like I kind of wait till I get home to have pie. And then it's like whatever grams of pie that I can calculate onto there, I just go ham on. Not ham like Kylie's ham. Like I believe in turkey, like hard as a mother with the pie. But that's kind of how I do it for everything. As we think about like our clients though, and we get through Thanksgiving, it's a tricky weekend because I think a lot of the times then people are dealing with leftovers, they're dealing with the negotiation of what does the rest of the weekend do? How do we kind of keep our clients accountable through the whole Thanksgiving weekend?
Well, I mean, having each other, having the chat, and I mean, this will be our third Thanksgiving as Busy Bariatrics. And last year I was all up in WhatsApp right on Thanksgiving Day, and people were in there kind of posting their like, hey, like I didn't fall face first into a pie, and look at me, look at my plate and how well I ate or didn't eat. And we were there supporting each other, and I'm sure that'll happen again this year. This year we also have Thrive Inside the Hive. A lot of good in there that the clients can use all month leading up to Thanksgiving to get their mindset right leading into the holiday and afterwards. And I mean, just really, you know, our community calls, usually November, are very much holiday based, and like really through the burrs are holiday based, and kind of giving each other tips and tricks on how to really get through the holiday season successfully.
I agree. I think one of the biggest things and one of my favorite things is the community. And just sharing with each other, you know, and learning from each other. And when you feel like maybe you're falling off track or you're frustrated or you just experienced a major win, people go in our community and they share those things and they piggyback off each other. And so allowing the community to do that for you can be such an incredible tool through the holidays. But one thing that I also say too is when you're struggling or you're spiraling, to lean into the community, lean into your coach when you feel like leaning out. That's a huge one for us, because when we feel like we're spiraling and we're feeling defeated and all of these negative emotions, the first thing we want to do is turn and run away. And that's the exact opposite of what we coach inside Busy Bariatrics. And so just make sure you're on top of your check-ins, make sure that you're messaging your coach when you're struggling. I have a client of mine who I have her do voice notes in her phone, in her notes, because that's the easiest way for her to get her emotions out on like paper, if you will. And she'll just send those to me so that she doesn't get distracted. She doesn't forget the things that she's struggling with. And so doing something like that can also be a huge tool.
Love that, Lise.
Absolutely. I think having a plan for the leftovers is a really good thing. Get a bunch of containers, make everybody else take it home. Or if you're going to somebody else's house, walk out with that. You might want to pack up a little turkey because we always need our proteins. But, I think figuring out how you're going to handle it and how it's going to get out of the house if it's in your house is really helpful. But also just in general, going back to business as usual. We start the day the same way we started the day before, protein heavy, we eat our breakfast. We don't punish ourselves for what we ate. There is no coming back in and being like, I can't eat today because I ate too much yesterday. We do not do that because food isn't for reward or punishment. We just go back to our usual habits. And that's one of the things we coach habits in Busy Bariatrics. So we get back to tracking. We get back to our meals and our snacks and nourishment, like actually nutrition. So yeah, business as usual.
I think it's so important. As of this recording, like this year, this will be the first Thanksgiving without my father. And one thing I learned from having an Italian funeral is we had just food coming out the wazoo. So one of the best things my uncle brought, which everyone made fun of him, and I actually asked him to bring it, and it worked perfectly, so I stand correct. He brought the 150 containers, the Tupperware container set from Costco, like the ones, and I just made a tonnage policy. If you brought 10 pounds of food in, you had to take 5 pounds out. So whatever the half amount was. So look, if you bring like a 5-pound 3-bean casserole, you need to bring like a 2.5-pound plate back out. And the beauty is everyone then got a little bit of everything, but it also allows you to push out, but also prioritize the turkey. It's a good lean protein, like kind of like take a bunch of that. We know we don't really need homemade cranberry or 3-bean casserole, so push that onto the people who like it. And then, make sure you have a clear plan with it. But I think also making sure that, look, it's really just that dinner. If you really look at it, and even just getting intentional on the calendar, like we've talked about, of it's a holiday, and making a clear plan for breakfast the next morning of, look, get right back into the routine and the habits, patterns, behaviors that worked so that you have everything together. The problem we see though in the community, not our clients all get this right.
They're all perfect.
But in the community we see, we'll blame anyone but anyone who's on our rosters, is sometimes that Black Friday slip turns into I'm going to take off the rest of November, and then becomes it's December already and I'm too busy. What are some of the most common lies that we see either people say about the holidays or how they manage December, besides just I'll start in January?
I feel like one of the common lies that I've told myself, but I also have heard people in the community say, is that they can't be around the treats or they can't be around these holiday parties and still be successful. So that's one of the things that I've struggled with in the past as well.
So Kylie, how do you coach people, or how do you kind of navigate that? Because I think that's probably one of the trickier parts. Is we all have holiday parties. We all have Christmas cookies that are out 24/7. How do we find a balance with all of that?
Yeah, well, and it kind of goes back to one of the things that we coach about a lot is having a plan, using your calendar. If you know you have 5 holiday parties in a 2-week, span of time, pick two of them that you're going to, fully maybe untrack, just enjoy, be present in the moment, and then have a good sturdy plan for the other three, right? So that you're still enjoying the holiday parties, but maybe there's two of them that you're going to have the kids. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. It's, whatever it is. And that one is maybe more fun. And you just want to enjoy and be present in the moment. You don't really want to have to think about tracking. You don't want to have to think about how you're plating. And instead of just throwing all five, having that plan and going into it that way. But also remember that this is kind of a mindset. I love mindset. One of the biggest things that I feel like helps us get to our bariatric success. And just remembering that how we think about food and how we think about these parties and how much we trust in ourselves in the process all stems from our mind and how we're managing our mind and our thoughts behind these parties and these treats and these foods.
No, I think that's perfect. Please.
Yeah, I think one of the things we hear a lot is like they blame everybody else. If she hadn't brought this, like, why would she bring so many cookies to my house? Or why would you just have to get right with food, man? I mean, like, there's just no way around it. And goes for the holidays and for the rest of the year. Like, you just got to get right with food. I will tell you, I am in maintenance, but I eat a cookie literally every day, like all year long. So I have my dessert, but it's because I prepare. It's because I pre-track. It's because I know my macros and I build that cookie into my day. So I don't feel like the cookie is an enemy or something I shouldn't have. I don't tell myself I can't have things because it's bad for your head,
Yeah, restriction leads to rebellion. And I think there's nothing truer than that. If I had a nickel for everyone who said, like, I'm not eating any Christmas cookies this season, it's like, I know that's not going to work. It's the same when people say, like, I'm going to keep 100% compliance track for my nutrition for this month. I'm like, you're not going to deviate one thing. And it's like, nope, 100%. I'm like, I almost can guarantee if I could find a bookie to handle like nutrition tracking, whenever it's 100%, that's when I'm like, yo, bet the house that's going to make it maybe 2 days deep before something derails it. And it causes that dichotomous thinking and all or nothing mindset to come in.
Yeah.
Stace?
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
The thing that I've heard, and the mindset that I had around the holidays before bariatric surgery is I might never get to eat X again, or I can only eat X at this time of the year. My two notorious ones were Brigham's frozen pudding ice cream, which only comes out at Christmas time, and eggnog. But it would be like, I can only eat Brigham's ice cream at this frozen pudding at this time of year. So I need to eat like 5 quarts of it. I need to eat it like constantly every night, every single, all the time. And I need to have like 3 gallons of eggnog like a month. Like, no.
That number seems low.
Well, it is. I'm trying to be like, not seem like a crazy maniacal person here, because there is a place that does really good fresh eggnog right down the street from me.
Everybody's
So
going
for those
to
of you betting at home, bet the under on Stacy drinking 3 gallons of eggnog this December.
The under. No, I've found a substitution, so it's all good. But yeah, just the like, I have to have all of X. Like I can't just moderate. And and it goes back to the all or nothing. They think because it's this time of year, I need to eat it, but I need to eat it in these large, massive quantities because I'm never going to get it again. Well, first of all, surprise, actually, like 12 months from now, this holiday is going to happen again. And all of these foods, they're going to come back. Even though the commercials tell you that this is like a once in a lifetime chance, like, no, it's going to come back again next year and you're going to get to eat it again. 2, you can have it, you can work it into your macros, just like Lisa's cookie, in small amounts and still get that satisfaction of having that holiday treat and not go overboard.
Stace, I love how you started this podcast episode talking about, like, if it's your first bariatric Thanksgiving, like, really understand that, like, you're going to have many more, but then we're kind of getting close to the end of it in that same mindset of, hey, it's coming back. The goal of bariatric surgery is to live a long time, but also have a good time. So the idea of, like, you should in theory be getting more Thanksgivings if you're doing this surgery right and living a longer, healthier life. Having some level of moderation, I think, is just a perfect plan for everything. And I will say, like, when clients start to say, or when people start to say, I'm too busy in December, I believe in any point of the calendar, it's that you don't really have healthy boundaries in place to communicate what your goals, habits, patterns, behaviors look like. Simple things as, like, if you know you get overstimulated by Christmas parties, don't put 5 on 1 week. Just say, hey, I love that. Can I see it in the new year? And start kicking the can on those things in the new year. I think sometimes we overcomplicate it, but it really, for me, I think comes down to how are you managing your calendar and communicating to other people that you have boundaries in place.
Right. And with the busy, that's a big thing too. I'm too busy to be, I have too much to do. It's too busy. I'm too crazy this time of year to be able to stick to this. If you can't take care of yourself in the crazy times in your life, you're never going to be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
But it's also something about, and when we talk about being busy, planning counters that. A lot of people get decision fatigue. And if they are in fact busy, having to think about what you're going to eat is just too much. And so you're eating whatever's right in front of you, like Stacey was saying. So we encourage people to secure their bag. You put a protein bar in your purse, plan for what you're going to eat for the day, and you have it ready. So that when you feel crazy and you feel like things are too busy, you already know what you're going to eat and it's there for you.
I also think too, like during the holidays, this is when people want to show up for other people, and we want to give back, and we want to, volunteer and do all of these things that maybe we don't do the rest of the year. And so because of that, because we're filling our calendar with a million other things for other people, the first thing that happens is we take a back seat for ourselves and our goals. And so really just making sure that you are showing up for yourself in a way that makes sense for you and your journey and your lifestyle every single day, you can show up better for all of the other people that you're trying to volunteer for. And you can have more holiday cheer when you're starting the day by showing up for yourself in a way that makes you feel good and that still works towards your goals. And that can be something so simple, right? But because of that all or nothing mentality, sometimes we get into that headspace of, well, if I can't do it big, then I'm not going to do it at all. But there are ways, and we do coach our clients on finding these simple ways to show up for yourself so that you can still work towards these goals, but show up better for other people.
And it doesn't always have to be food. Like there are so many nice things to do during the holidays that are not food things.
Absolutely.
You can go see, like, there are those great light displays all over the place. Like I personally love to, like, get a cup of coffee, get in the car, and like drive around and look at people's Christmas lights. I always do it with Jeff, and we go look at the really tacky ones, which I love. It's my favorite. But like, there are active things you can do that are just as much the holiday as every meal that you eat.
Love that, Lise. I think a lot of the times we forget that, like, we don't have to make it all about food. It can be something as simple as, like, do a turkey trot, like, Thursday morning. Like, Thanksgiving really doesn't start till Detroit kicks off at noon. So get, like, that together, or just go look at Christmas lights the next day. Heck, put your own Christmas lights up, or whatever you do for your holidays. Like, decorate your house or do things like that. Find different functions for it. So I love that. This is going to drop Thanksgiving morning. So I know that we're pre-recording this, but I'm going to put everyone on the spot. Favorite thing to do Thanksgiving weekend? It can be anything from either the half-day Wednesday where I get out of school early till the Monday where you come back into work.
Okay, so that's an interesting one for me because I usually work on the Wednesday and then make my stuffing. And then I work Black Friday. And then I work Saturday at my full-time job. When I say work, I work at my full-time job because I do tech support, and tech support never closes. And everybody buying their Black Friday goods have to connect them to the internet. And so here I am with everybody with their new stuff, calling me, wanting to know how to connect it to their Wi-Fi. And then the Sunday, usually, if I haven't already decorated for Christmas, that's when I start decorating. Would be on the Sunday.
Perfect.
Listen, if I had it my way, we would be decorating for Christmas right now, but my husband is 100% against that. Rob,
Same.
I already
I'm
know.
with him.
I already
Love
know.
Jake.
I know. You're judging. You can judge. It's fine. I think for me, I almost feel like my favorite thing during the holiday or the weekend after Thanksgiving is just relaxing with the family because my family is my people. Like that's my comfort is, in the house with my family in my sweatpants and my oversized sweater. And just relaxing. And maybe instead of feeling like the pressure of going to the gym, that's when the family, we all go for a walk together, like a leisure walk. Leisure walks are my favorite. I feel like there's a difference between like an exercise walk where I feel like I have to like put on my gym clothes and my tennis shoes, and then a leisure walk where I can carry my coffee and we just connect and have conversations with the family or the kids or whatever. And that is something that I look forward to the most is just hanging out with the family and just relaxing and not feeling like all of this high pressure to do all of the things all of the time. But I also love to cook too. So I'm excited for that.
Love it. And I think like sometimes we overcomplicate like step goals on that, and that's probably a whole different episode, but just simple things of that of like take your coffee out and go for a walk as a family is a very subtle way to communicate and do that. So love that.
For sure.
One of the things that I love to do on Black Friday, as a matter of fact, is I like to do something for myself and I will invite a family member with me. It's a great time to go get your nails done, get a massage. Like everybody else can go be crazy and shop, but it's like a nice time to do something just to take care of yourself a little bit. And if you want to bring your mom with you, or if you have a sister or a kid, it's a great time to do something. Got to put yourself first.
Love that, Lise. Eagles play Friday this year. They're the Black Friday game. So I get football all day Thursday, and Thanksgiving's just a good sweatpants season. Like we have like a very low agenda on Thanksgiving, so it's like you can show up in sweatpants. And now that like the Eagles are playing on Friday, I can justify like at 1 o'clock shutting down Friday as opposed to like trying to cram in go 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 go. And then I still have Saturday to do whatever I want holiday wise. So it's a nice little balance for me. But I like that it's a lower key, lower pressure. You can do what you want with it if you really manage it. So with that in mind, I'm looking at the time, and I know people are probably tired of hearing us by this point. And all the data shows after the 30-minute mark, nobody listens to these episodes. So, like, we can really say whatever we want here. So, I'm going to tell everyone, let's be real. The holidays really aren't the problem. Your lack of plan is. November and December don't magically make you gain weight. They just expose your systems. You don't need to skip pie. You just need to skip the all or nothing mindset that's keeping you stuck. Circle the actual holidays on your calendar and treat the rest like normal days because your body doesn't care what month it does. It just tracks its consistency. So, if this episode hit home, it's time to stop calling November and December the problem and start calling your lack of systems what it is. You can enjoy the food and protect your progress. You just need structure, support, and a coach who calls your BS with love. So if you haven't yet, hit follow, leave a 5-star rating, and share this episode with a bariatric friend who needs to hear it this holiday season. Now go enjoy your turkey, hit your water, and as always, keep getting busy. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.